this shows you his genius, all right? I didn't know, most of the times when they put on a costume, like in Big Trouble in Little China, I know what is going on because it's that regal look and gold and everything. But with Ridley, you don't know what's going on. But when the time comes, you step on the set and you try that costume on, which you saw Chu wear, you know, with the pipes in the back. All of a sudden, you realize you're working with a genius. And that really was. You know, he's that kind of man. He seems to keep everything, for me, I don't know about your experience, but he keeps everything to himself. And then I think he develops and let it cook in his dreams and nightmares. And so I learned from him always that as an actor, you should never be satisfied with just what you see and what you do. Because from Ridley, you know that he's examining every corner of his mind, every molecule, and that's how he came out with Blade Runner, as far as I'm concerned. I'm talking too much, so I'll just pass the microphone.
Mr. Hauer, it's been written, and I'm not sure if this is true, but I wanted to ask you, it's been written that you were the first and only choice for the role of Roy, that minds were made up that you were going to play this character. So with that in mind, whether that's true or not, how did you get involved with this particular picture?
You know, they just told me. I didn't do a screen test, and I know he did quite a few screen tests with other actors, and so you didn't do one either. But for the replicants, he did the screen tests that were amazing because he dressed people, he lit them, he had camera people. It was like they were on a movie set, and so. And I think, you know, as an actor, that's part of you wish for, because directors who are casting people don't know what they're missing. If you give an actor all kinds of tools to play with and an atmosphere and some serious moments before he gets the role, at least he gets a chance. And as a director, you get a chance to see what you might get, and you see it better. It's really, that is so cool. From Ridley. I guess they were sure about me. I did get a call. I had the part already if I wanted it. I was invited for lunch with Ridley, and we talked for 3 hours about all kinds of things. And basically, what we share is our minds are pretty wicked. You know? Our minds, they bleed together and they're pretty wicked. That's all I can say. And wicked, meaning wicked dark, wicked light, whatever color of wicked you want. We share that. And I was very proud at the end that he really allowed me, because he didn't really know what he was going to get from me, but that he allowed me to give half of my being to the character. That doesn't happen a lot to an actor. And, you know, I'm not so horny on my own stuff. Half of it is good. More you can get, then it becomes an ego trip. So half of Roy's mind is mine, and half of the interpretation is mine, not the script. And half of the whole story of Blade Runner and Roy's character is mine. The whole dance is mine. There are a lot of things that are mine. It doesn't really matter. You know, who cares? As long as it really hits, it's fine. It was my, I'll wrap it up quick. It was my first real dance in an international movie where I could just fly.
Make that one submarine movie, right? With a submarine.
Yeah, a submarine movie.
Yeah. What's that?
You want to change the subject? Okay, I'll be right there. No, for an actor, you know, your trust comes from an audience, and that is like the last 50 years, we get some really great feedback from an audience. Before that, we wouldn't see our audiences at all. So the internet has served a great purpose, and but the trust in your gut, that's the one thing you need, nothing else. The rest is all bullshit. You need to know that you're reaching people the right way. And I learned that pretty quick in my career. With Blade Runner, this was my first time out, or yeah, Nighthawks, but that was so bad. And so this was the second movie. It doesn't matter, guys. Sometimes it's a bad experience, but the movie turns out fine. But this was mine in many ways, and there is no experience that travels 30 years from then to now. I don't think there was any actor who's ever had this feeling. And as you noticed, there are no fucking words to explain it. So that's.
What questions do you have? Yeah. Raise your hand. Yes, sir. Right there.
You guys were in one of the last really great practical effects masters. How do you contrast that with what's going on right now on CGI? I know Harrison Ford famously complained about standing around reacting to Ridley Scott sets, and I bet he feels pretty bad about that now because you don't get sets anymore. How do you guys feel about that?
What I see today is special effects. This is the era of special effects. And it lacks the humanity that when we did our picture. Although we had great special effects, there was a great deal of humanity going on even before that. But I was talking before both of these guys. I'm old. I'm so old I was the waiter at the Last Supper. Anyhow, the pictures, the great movies, Treasure of Sierra Madre, Wizard of Oz, great films. Today, it's all special effects, and they don't touch on the humanity of human beings. And that's why I object to most of it. That's movies of today.
It does feel a little bit like The Last Supper, the way we're sitting here. There's a steam behind us. Yeah, you know, the thing is, Blade Runner, okay, it doesn't compare to anything. I'm sorry, but that's Blade Runner. It doesn't really compare, and Blade Runner 1, 2, 3 doesn't exist. It's not going to happen, guys. Yeah, times change, absolutely. And the biggest part of what we do is that it's become so complex and so expensive that nobody wants to finance any movies anymore. At the same time, you all have cameras. You can all make movies. Right now, if you have a story, you can start making movies right now. And that's where we're going to go. We're going to go there because if it's too expensive to make a movie and it's not getting made, then we're going to work for you guys. No problem.
To answer the question, maybe, is that, and I'm sure you know all of you are affected by the special effects, because why? To me, Ridley was the inventor of a lot of those effects, and after Ridley did it, then other people would follow and copy different things he did, like that Japanese sign that kept flashing on and off, and neon sign, and to me, those shots have some kind of feeling. You don't know what it is, but you feel it. As an audience, you and I feel that feeling that he has as he bangs around the sky. You know, it's not just something for effects, special effects. It's something very soulful about the things he does. And every time I see that film, I say, oh, here it comes. You know, when the snake lady, serpent lady, runs and runs and runs and crashes through that glass, and I think he does it twice or 3 times. But to me, that has something. You feel for the woman who is dying.
Yeah, you feel the glass.
And so, to me, it's like you say, it's not just special effects. It's something to do with the soul, you know. And as far as the screen review and the refrigerator, I do have a question. You know,
do you still have pubic hair, or after that I lost my pubic hair.
How old is that? Just because we're looking at this girl down here, pubic hair. But anyway, that scene that I had. But anyway, the scene I had with you, I remember. Oh, and right, the history of that scene was one of the last scenes in shot, right? You remember that? We went in that food locker down in East LA. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was a real
camera froze.
Yeah. What?
We froze too, but the camera froze first.
Right. And the lights were freezing. And we only had, I think, 2 days to shoot that one, maybe 1 day. And so we were being hurried. You know, I hate that when you're being hurried by the director and producer, and everybody's getting nervous. So if you're an actor, don't ever get into the last day of shooting, you know. But that's what was happening. So we have to improvise a lot of things, you know. Fooling with those eyeballs. The story's really too long, but I just wanted to.
You were in there a lot longer than we were because you couldn't move.
But when we're doing that scene where he says, if you have only seen what I say that line.
Fiery the angels fell. I had no idea what the hell I was talking about.
Your eyes.
Yeah.
I designed your eyes. You Nexus?
You're going home with each other tonight.
This is radio. This is radio. No, I'm not going to go to. Can I say something more?
Yeah.
Or you want to?
When I have seen.
Yeah, but I can't do that funny accent anymore.
Yes, you can.
No acting here. I'm sorry.
No acting here.
No.
Anyway.
No. I feel.
Yeah, right. But my question was this, really, as I remember, because we were hurrying so much, he says, and you don't have to answer because it's a very personal question. He says, can you pick up the pace? He didn't say it like that. He said, can you pick up the pace of record a bit, and so forth. But you didn't feel like picking up the pace, did you? No.
The pace in that screen, I was amazed about the pace myself because my training comes from Paul Verhoeven. I did 5 films with him, and he always said, can you pick up the pace? You know, and so my training was, don't slow anything down. And Rutger kept saying, it's slower to me, and it was scary. Okay. Where can we find this?
I don't know if we've answered any questions, but it was fun. That scene was fun. I kind of picked up the pace, you know, but I thought he said hurry up, but I must have misinterpreted that.
Well, maybe he said hurry up for you.
Maybe
Possible,
he did.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You notice Mr. Hong suffered from shyness.
Hong!
Very shyness.
Hong.
Says.
Yeah. I thought you said Wong.
Very shy.
That's typical, right?
The Chinese, not all of them.
James, you must give up that microphone.
Question on you.
Mr. Hauer, I heard that the monologue you give in Blade Runner was improvised on the set. I've read that, and I'm not sure if that's true. If it is, I'm just curious with the background that you did on your character, like on the set, just where did that come from that day?
That was the last day of shooting, and we had the writer's strike already. We couldn't rewrite things. We had an actor's strike. The last day of shooting was right up to, it was an actor's strike from our union, which basically meant if the actor's strike would go on, we could not work anymore, okay? Not that we had to stop work. So it was very tense. And people were very tired after 4 months. And then I had to do this, and I want to advise you to go to, this is a website that I'm in, Film Factory Shorts and YouTube. I do Blade Runner talks there, and I talk from the heart and from my mind, rather than in front of all of you. But I'll tell you, I basically wrote the silence. I cut about 300 words from a monologue that was there that was way too long. It didn't make any sense. It was high-tech speak. And if you have to tell a story just before you die, it sucks. I think I've seen operas and I can't stand it. And in this case, you know, if the batteries are low, you're not going to be able to speak everything you want to say. And in life, you know, I really believe it's not true that you have said everything you wanted to. You just don't get the time. I think that's another human factor that I built into the So when he starts saying something, he's dying, or his batteries are going. So